Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This video is about understanding fiction that will be focused on prose fiction genres. Reading literary works differs from reading non-literary works in several ways. When reading literary works, we might also think about the literary elements that are included in the text. This element will change our reading and point of view naturally. When reading news articles or other non-fiction works, we may want to double-check date or details from the text. However, while reading literature, we want to feel the text, enjoy the reading, and understanding the context. So, in this video, I will try to give a little explanation about fiction. Then we will focus on prose fiction genres to make us easier in analyzing the type of literary fiction in prose. Okay, let's start it. The first is about fiction. Fiction derives from Latin fiction, meaning escaping, a kind of fading. It refers to genres that are not entirely true, but are shaped, made up, or imagined in some way. In the other word, Edward Albee, as American playwright, considered fiction as fact distorted into truth. Fiction, however, cannot simply be defined as a story that is not true. The relationship between fiction and real life even is complicated. It is not as if fiction has no connection to reality. Fiction must have a connection to reality, but not always through facts. In fiction, the facts may or may not be true, but the story is basically imaginary. And let's continue with the discussion of the prose fiction genres. Actually, there are numerous subgenres of prose fiction, and here are the general categorization of this prose fiction. The first is an epic. An epic can be defined as a literary work of 200,000 words or more. Homer's with the Iliad and the Odyssey are two of the well-known epic poems. Beowulf also considered an epic. Other well-known epics include Dante Alighieri's with Divine Comedy, John Milton with his Paradise Lost, and Edmund Spenser's The Faerie Queene. The second is novel. A novel is single prose fiction that is long enough to have been published as a full-featured book. To make it more scientific, a novel can be referred to a literary work of 60,000 words or more. Pride and Prejudice, for example, with several hundred pages long in most editions, is a novel. The next is novella. A novella is a literary work at least 17,500 words, but under 60,000 words. However, this is something more than these numbers to define a novella. Some good examples of the novella are The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson and Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. There are also novelette. A novelette is a literary work at least 7,500 words but under 17,500 words. Novelettes have generally related or whimsical, sentimental themes. Character development, world building, and plotting are more important in novelettes than in short stories. An example of novelettes is The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. The next prose fiction genre is short story. Short story is a literary work of at least 2,000 words but under 7,500 words. The distinction between short stories and novels is not solely based on word count. A novel tends to tell us everything, while a short story only tells us one thing and with strong intensity. One of the examples of short stories is James Joyce's Araby. And the last generally categorization of prose fiction is flash fiction. Flash fiction is a literary work of fewer than 2,000 words in just a few short paragraphs. Flash fiction can convey profound truth and universal human emotions. Science fiction, short stories, microfiction, and microstories are other terms for flash fiction. Some examples of flash fiction are The Haunted House by Virginia Woolf, A Telephone Conversation by Mark Twain, and Everyone Cried by Lydia Davis. So that's all about prose fiction genres. I hope this video will help us in analyzing this type of literary fiction in prose. Thank you for your attention. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.